The most confusing moment in an avoidant attachment pattern is not the first date. It is not the first kiss. It is not even the first argument. It is the moment after closeness, when you think you finally reached them, and then they pull away. One night, you are talking like real partners. They are open, warm, maybe even tender in a way you have been waiting for. They hold you, they soften, they say something intimate, and your body finally drops its guard. Then, the next day, it is like a door quietly closed. Replies slow down, plans get fuzzy, their tone goes flat. You start reading the air for danger. You replay every sentence. You wonder if you said too much, wanted too much, felt too much. And here is the part people need explained clearly. Not only what this does to you, but what is happening inside them and why it happens. Because this pattern is not just about your anxiety. It is also about the avoidant nervous system response to closeness and the way distance becomes their fastest form of relief. In this episode, I'm going to explain what your body is reacting to, what their body is reacting to, why closeness can trigger an avoidance system even when the feelings were real, how the threat and relief loop forms on both sides, and what to do so you stop chasing someone who regulates themselves with distance. If this kind of clarity helps your nervous system settle, subscribe. PsychBond is a daily decoder for psychology, relationships, and avoidant and anxious attachment patterns, so you stop guessing. Here is the first nervous system truth that changes everything. Your body is not measuring love the way your mind measures love. Your body measures safety through predictability, consistency, and repair. When someone gets close and then pulls away, your body cannot predict access. It cannot predict tone. It cannot predict what happens next. So it goes into scanning mode. That scanning can look like overthinking, checking your phone, rereading texts, trying different tones, trying not to look needy, or feeling a tight chest that does not go away. You might even feel ashamed because you tell yourself nothing happened, I should calm down. But your body is not responding to a single text. It is responding to a pattern it recognizes. Close, then gone. Warm, then cold. Intimacy, then distance. That is not only emotional, it is conditioning. And if you do not name it, your nervous system will keep trying to solve it by chasing the person who caused it. Now, let us slow it down so you can feel it clearly. What does close, then pull away actually mean in the body? It means your system experienced connection as regulation. You felt safe, chosen, seen, held. Your heart rate drops, your mind quiets, your body stops bracing. Then the person pulls away and your body loses its anchor. The same person who calmed you now activates you. So your system does what it always does in uncertainty. It tries to restore the safety signal. That is why this dynamic can feel addictive. Not because they are perfect, because your body learned to pair them with relief. Threat when they withdraw, relief when they return. The bigger the contrast between disappearance and return, the more powerful the relief feels. And the more powerful the relief feels, the more your brain calls it love. So you start confusing relief with love, and that is how you can feel obsessed with someone who is inconsistent, and calmer with someone who is consistent. Now, why does the avoidant person pull away right after closeness? Many people assume the pull away means the closeness was fake. Sometimes it can be fake, but often it is not fake. Often, the closeness was real in the moment. The issue is what closeness triggers in their nervous system. For many avoidant systems, closeness creates exposure. It creates expectation. It creates a sense of being needed. It creates a sense of losing autonomy. Their conscious mind may like you, want you, even love you, but their body interprets the closeness as danger. Not danger from you, danger from dependence, danger from responsibility, danger from being seen, danger from losing control. So after a connected night, they can wake up and their body is tight. They may feel irritated for no clear reason. They may feel shame for being open. They may feel like they revealed too much. They may think, now they will expect more. Now I owe something. Now I will be trapped. Sometimes they do not have clear thoughts at all. They just feel discomfort. And if they do not have a skill for staying present through discomfort, they reach for the fastest relief. Distance. Distance lowers the sensation. Distance restores autonomy. Distance makes them feel like themselves again. And here is what it often feels like inside the avoidant person when they pull away. Because understanding the internal experience is what stops you from turning this into self-blame. Right after closeness, they can feel two things at the same time. One part of them feels connected and even grateful. Another part of them feels exposed and tense. Their body can interpret intimacy like a spotlight. They start replaying what they said, not because they regret you, but because being open can feel like losing protection. They can wake up with a tight chest, a restless irritation, or a numb, blank feeling that scares them. And they do not always know how to translate that into words. The simplest translation their body offers is distance. Distance makes the tightness drop. Distance makes the expectation feel smaller. Distance makes them feel back in control. And that is why they may not even be aware they are doing it. Their nervous system is doing the math. Close equals risk. Space equals relief. They might also feel a wave of responsibility after closeness, like, now I owe something. Now they will want more. Now I will disappoint them. And rather than face that fear, they retreat. Some avoidant people were raised in environments where love came with pressure, criticism, or emotional flooding. So closeness still carries that old association. Other avoidant people learned early that needing someone was unsafe. So the moment they feel themselves attaching, their body hits the brakes. And some avoidant people simply do not have the skill for repair. So pulling away feels like the safest way to avoid conflict, even though it creates more pain. The important point is this. Their pull away is often a regulation move, not a statement about your worth. But your nervous system still experiences it as danger, because silence and unpredictability are dangerous to attachment. So your job is not to decode them forever. Your job is to require a structure where their need for space is communicated with a return time, so their regulation does not become your panic. Now, let us make this painfully practical with scenes, because your body recognizes scenes faster than theory. Scene 1 is the connected night. They open up about something personal. They share vulnerability. They stay present. They are warm. They say, I feel safe with you, or I miss you, or I have not felt this with others. You feel your body soften. You sleep well. The next day, your message sits. They reply late. Their tone is flat. You start scanning. Did I say something wrong? No, What happened is exposure. They felt open, then they felt exposed, and their body wanted armor. Scene 2 is the intimacy scene. You have sex that feels bonded. They are affectionate after. They cuddle. They do not rush away. You feel like the bond is real. Then they pull away. They get busy. They stop initiating. You feel confused because nothing bad happened. What happened is dependence threat. Intimacy can make an avoidant system feel like the bond now has weight. Weight can feel like obligation. They pull away to reduce the weight. Scene 3 is the future scene. You talk about something small that implies tomorrow, a plan, a trip, a schedule. You are not demanding commitment. You are just speaking like partners speak. They engage. They seem excited. Then, the next day, they're distant. What happened is expectation threat. The future implies continuity. Continuity implies responsibility. Their body wants to reduce that implication. Scene 4 is the clarity scene. You ask a simple adult question. Are we exclusive? Where is this going? What are we building? They pull away right after. They call it pressure. They go vague. They act like you ruined the vibe. What happened is accountability threat. Your question did not create the problem. Your question revealed the capacity problem. Now, if you are anxious, here is the moment you usually lose yourself without noticing. You start trying to manage the pull-away. You shrink your needs. You soften your voice. You over-explain. You say you are not asking for much. You try to be the easiest version of yourself. Or you chase. You send more texts. You ask what is wrong. You try to fix it. All of those are nervous system moves. Your system is trying to restore safety. But this is the danger. If every time they pull away and then return, you reset with full warmth and full access, you teach their nervous system that the cycle works. They get closeness, then relief, then closeness again, without repair. Your body calls it relief. Their body calls it freedom restored. The relationship becomes a loop, not a bond. And then, your life starts orbiting the loop. You start living for the good nights. You start enduring the cold gaps. You start treating the return like proof. And you start treating the withdrawal like something you must prevent. That is when you stop dating and start managing. Now let us name the emotional and nervous system consequences of close then pull away, because this is where people feel deeply seen and stay listening. The first consequence is that you become hyper-aware of micro-shifts. A short reply feels like danger. A delayed reply feels like rejection. A canceled plan feels like abandonment. You do not react this way because you are broken. You react this way because your body learned that closeness can vanish without warning. So it tries to detect the vanish early. The second consequence is that you start associating love with tension. You start thinking love requires effort, vigilance, and patience. But what you are calling patience is often self-abandonment. The third consequence is that you start losing your baseline. You might be confident at work, but in the relationship, you feel small. Because you are living inside a bond with no predictable structure. The fourth consequence is that your body starts bonding harder right before the loss. Your system feels relief in the closeness, then threat in the distance, then relief again in the return. That contrast is bonding. So the bond can feel stronger, precisely because it is unstable. The fifth consequence is that you start performing. You start editing your needs, your timing, your tone. You start treating yourself like you are negotiating access to a person rather than relating to a partner. That performance can look calm on the outside and feel exhausting on the inside. And over time, performance creates resentment because you are working to maintain stability that you are not receiving. Now, I want to name the quiet truth many anxious people feel but rarely say. When someone gets close, then pulls away, you start feeling like closeness itself is risky. You start feeling like your joy will be punished. You start feeling like softness will be followed by loss. That association makes your body brace, even in good moments. You can be cuddling and still feel anxious. You can be laughing and still be scanning. You can be having a great date and still be waiting for the drop. That is what unstable love does. It makes your body live in pre-loss. Now, why do avoidance systems do this beyond the immediate discomfort? There are a few common internal drivers, and you do not need to make them villains to understand the pattern. Some avoidant people fear being depended on because dependency once felt like danger. They learned that love equals burden. So when you get close, their body anticipates burden and pulls away. Some avoidant people fear being seen because being seen once led to shame. So closeness feels exposing, and pulling away feels safer. Some avoidant people fear losing autonomy because closeness once meant control. So they pull away to prove to themselves they are still free. Some avoidant people fear their own feelings. They can handle casual. They cannot handle depth because depth activates old pain. So they pull away to turn down the feeling. And sometimes it is not that deep. Sometimes they want the benefits without responsibility. Sometimes they want closeness when it feels good and distance when it feels demanding. The reason matters less than the result. The result is that your nervous system is paying the cost, and you cannot heal inside a structure that keeps injuring you. So, what do? The goal is not to become so low need that they never deactivate. The goal is to be in a relationship where deactivation is handled with communication and repair, not disappearance. So, the moment they pull away after closeness, you do not chase the warmth. You request a structure, not a speech, a structure. You say, "I feel the distance after we were close. If you need space, tell me and give me a time you will reconnect." Then you stop. That sentence does two things. It protects your nervous system from guessing, and it tests capacity. A person with capacity can do this. They might feel uncomfortable, but they can respond. They can say, "I need a day. I will call tomorrow night." A person without capacity will dodge, blame, or disappear. And that response is information. Information is regulating. Guessing is not. Now we need to talk about repair. Because repair is the difference between love and a loop. Many people accept fake repair. Fake repair is a sweet return without accountability. Fake repair is, "Sorry, I was busy." Then it happens again. Fake repair is, "I just need space," with no return time and no plan. Fake repair is, "You know how I am." Real repair is naming the pattern, taking responsibility for the impact, and offering a different behavior next time. It can be simple. It can sound like, "When I feel overwhelmed after closeness, I will not go quiet. I will tell you I need a day to settle, and I will check in tomorrow evening. That is repair. That is a new structure. And without a new structure, close then pull away will repeat because nothing is stopping it. Warmth is not repair. Time passing is not repair. A return is not a reset. Now, I want to speak directly to the avoidant listener who recognizes themselves, because this is where the channel feels fair and high trust. If you pull away after closeness, you might tell yourself you are just busy, you just need space, you just do not like pressure. But your partner experiences your silence as danger. They are not experiencing your space as neutral. They are experiencing it as abandonment. So if you want a relationship, you need one simple skill. Communicate space with a return time. That one message protects trust without trapping you. It keeps your autonomy and it keeps their nervous system from spiraling. If you cannot do that, the pattern will keep hurting people and you will keep calling it incompatibility when it is actually a regulation issue. Now, let us talk about the biggest trap for the anxious person, because this is where people get stuck for years. The trap is thinking that if you give them enough space, they will come back and stay. Space can help an overwhelmed system regulate, yes, but space without standards is abandonment training for you. The goal is not to accept disappearing as normal. The goal is to require a relationship shape where space is communicated and repair is expected. That is the adult standard. So you do not just give space. You ask for a new agreement. If you need space after closeness, tell me. Give me a return point. Do not leave me guessing. That is not pressure. That is basic respect. Now, let us separate two things that get confused: healthy pacing and avoidance. Healthy pacing still feels steady. There is consistency. There is care. There is honesty. There is a plan. Avoidance disguised as pacing feels like closeness and then punishment. It feels like you are only safe when you ask for nothing. It feels like your needs make them disappear. Your body can tell the difference. If you feel like you are walking on eggshells, that is not healthy pacing. That is your nervous system responding to a capacity problem. Now, what is the clean capacity test for close, then pull away? You name the pattern calmly, and you watch what happens. You say, I like being close with you. When you pull away after closeness, it is hard for me. If you need space, tell me and give me a return time. Can you do that? Then, silence. No speech. Their response is data. If they can name it and do it, there is capacity. If they get defensive, blame you, or disappear, you have information. And then you stop negotiating. Because negotiating is what keeps you stuck. You are not trying to win a debate. You are trying to live in a relationship shape that does not require you to abandon yourself. Now, let us talk about what to do when they return, because this is where most people relapse. They pull away, you feel activated, then they come back warm. Your body feels relief. Your mind wants to reset. This is where you apply one rule. The return must come with repair. Not punishment, repair. So you say, I am glad you are here. Before we go back to normal, we need to address what happened after we were close and agree on what you will do next time you feel that urge to pull away. If they can do that, your nervous system can begin to trust. If they cannot do that, your nervous system gets the truth. And truth is what settles you. Not warm moments, not hope, not potential. Truth. Now I want to address the objections people have, because they are real. What if they are genuinely busy? What if they have stress? What if they have family issues? Real life happens. But here is the rule. Busy does not erase respect. Stress does not erase communication. If someone has capacity, they can keep a baseline. They can say, I am slammed this week. I care about you. I will call on a specific day. Close, then pull away is not one hard week. It is a pattern that shows up specifically after closeness. That pattern is what matters. Another objection is, maybe I just need to be patient. Patience is beautiful when there is growth. Patience is self-harm when there is repetition. The difference is simple. Is the structure changing? Is repair improving? Is communication improving? Or are you being asked to adapt forever? If the structure is not changing, patience becomes postponing reality. Now, I want to give you one more lens that will protect you from being hooked. Close, then pull away often makes you focus on the person as a puzzle. Why are they like this? What did I trigger? What do they feel? But the puzzle is the trap. The way out is to focus on the structure. What is the baseline? What happens after closeness? What happens after a rupture? What happens when you ask for clarity? Those answers tell you capacity. Chemistry cannot tell you capacity. Attention cannot tell you capacity. Warmth cannot tell you capacity. Capacity is the ability to stay present, communicate, repair, and follow through. If someone has capacity, closeness does not require disappearance. It might require a conversation, but not silence. Now let us close with what your body needs most. Your body needs predictability, not perfection. It needs to know what happens when things get close. It needs to know what happens when someone gets overwhelmed. It needs to know what happens after a rupture. It needs repair. And if the person cannot offer predictability and repair, you cannot force your nervous system to feel safe. You can try to be chill, but your body will stay on alert because the structure is not safe. So the goal is not to become low need. The goal is to choose a relationship shape where your needs are allowed, and closeness does not come with disappearance as the price. Stop asking, do they like me? Start asking, do they have the capacity to stay present after closeness? Stop asking, how do I keep them warm? Start asking, what does this pattern cost me? Because being chosen is not a feeling they give you in a moment. Being chosen is a structure they build with you over time. If they cannot build that, you do not need to hate them. You simply stop participating in a loop that costs you your peace. Welcome to PsychBond. You're safe here.